Hello all, it's Deacon Mike. Just got Push of Pike here. Massed battles in war-torn 17th century Europe. So this is the, I guess, starter box. Epic scale from Warlord. Note, contains more than 1,300 soldiers. Insanity, right? Basically the whole wars, series of wars. And pretty nice art. In the back here we can see, this is something you can see on the web page, basically the bit of building. This actually looks like it's for, what, 15 millimeter. And these soldiers tend to be, what, between 13 and 14 millimeter, from bottom of the foot to the eyes. Although the pikes are pretty nicely nice and tall here. So you get a few pictures, you get the layout of everything in the box. Right here you've got 100% scale example. And right, we've got looks like a little partnership unfolding, right? Sarissa Precision Limited, connected with Warlord. So pretty big box. I guess that's about a 6-inch thick box, right? And inside this wonder of wonders, let's put that aside. All right, got a rule book, little soft cover, right? So all full color, right? Lots of nice commentary. Pretty usual, what you have come to expect from Warlord Games. And I see nice range of flags. Okay, Europe. What's that? A little bit of history. Europe in 1648. So right, you can be able to do the 30 Years' War. So right up to the end of the 30 Years' War. And right, of course, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to want this for the Pike and Shotte stuff. That'll be Minnie's English Civil War, which, I mean, I have let me see what I've got here. I've got a range of things that I've already been able to play, which is 30 Years' War, if I want, but WoFun, or World of Fun, has their little plexiglass, like Peter Dennis miniatures. And so I have a bunch of those. Let me see if I can find an example. I've got me Colonial British. Lots and lots of colonials. And so if we're getting Push of Pike done, as an example, here's my English Civil War stuff. So here's what I tend to use. So we get a nice little plexiglass flat right there, and that's what we use these days for approximately, doable in 15 millimeter if you want. And I have, I think this is just a starter set, but it's sufficient for little battles we like to do. Then, from GMT, of course, stretching from A Cursed Civil War. So this A Cursed Civil War basically battles English Civil War, and then this multi-pack included this other game, Sweden Fights On, right? So this guy right here, Hex Encounter, of course. This is a whole bunch of English Civil War, and so post death of the Line of the North, so a series of battles that are Sweden in the 30 Years' War. So we like our, you know, we like our 17th century warfare, we'll say, in varying forms. So back to this. Thank you, Morgan, for packing this nicely. All right, so this right here is a little painting guide. All right, so that starts back here with what I think the paint palette requirement for this is a little bit easier than, say, I have the Waterloo campaign sets for the British and the French. Those are a little more complicated. But looking at this case, these little guys right here seem to have a little bit of an easier palette if I just wanted to go very simple. So there's going to be, of course, plenty of videos you'll find online showing people that are just amazing at this. I'm pretty awful at it, but as you can see, look at this this Pike and Shotte unit right here. It's not too, let's say, not too much detail really required at this size, but of course these are very pro-painted and photographed, right? All right, here's the Sarissa Precision Fortified Manor House set. So nice MDF. And as suspected, right, it looks to be more like registering for 15mm, but it'll probably look fine. All right, let's see. This right here is, so a bunch of tables right here, right? So sequence of play, command movement. If you're familiar with anything from Warlord in terms of the Rick Priestley stuff. Oh, and speaking of which, I have a nice add-on bonus to this pre-order, which is it's a signed copy, which that's very cool. I really like the system that Black Powder runs with, and you know, it's fairly fun and easy. And if you want a good example of Black Powder stuff, I'd go on YouTube and search for Seventh Son, and maybe I'll even put a little bit of a note or a linky down in the comment. And I really enjoy him. He's a great painter, and he does a good job just showing you the rules and playing games and stuff. Pretty well produced. And he's also done Saga, but I think the main thing that I like that he has done has tended to be the Black Powder stuff, right? So these tables just all set up for Black Powder. Oh, cool. So now we got, looks like casualty markers that you can cut out. So that wasn't, I don't think that was in the Waterloo campaign sets, so that's a pretty nice little bonus, right? And now we come to the essential bits, right? So got a bunch of sprues here that are all similar. Here are 4 of them stacked together. Then on the reverse side, here's 3 more. They look like they're all the same sprue pretty much. And what you've got here, let's take a look at one of them. Put this one aside. All right, so yeah, I'm no expert. I just love the little soldiers. That's all. And so we got a whole bunch of pikemen. I know there's commanded shot in the mix. There's one of these you can see is more. Okay, yeah, there's one here that's styled for the flags and a command. And then you have some pikemen that are, you can see them, they're more in pikes down, you know, rather than say on the march, pikes being up. And you got a whole bunch of shot. Let me see here. So there's a commander there with a drummer. Okay, a whole bunch of gray sprues, right? And let's turn that there. Put this like this. Okay, then you have very nice different color plastic for this bunch right here. Okay, so again, very similar kind of army makeup right across the combatants, so that makes it kind of easy. Then we got a bunch of 17th century cavalry and of course artillery. Okay, looks like some commanded shot troops here. This sprue has two cannons, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12. Got a bunch of cavalry. Some of them, they might be. Looks like there might be one command here. So look at this. We got a little bit of a issue with a bent musket. Okay. So that's easy to bend back, but you can see that it's a little bit fragile right there. So maybe just from, you know, packaging in terms of the handling. And of course, similarly, in the other color, a bunch of cavalry and again 2 cannons. Okay, and you can see one is a heavy cannon here, and up here is a light cannon. So kind of a cool variation. I like that. And of course, a whole pile of bases. And you know, some people I've noticed with, say, the with the Waterloo campaign stuff, some people went and did some cutting of bases, but I decided not to. The troops, I just like their look. There's a bunch of French, of course, unpainted. I probably won't ever paint these. I'll go with like some kind of weird, like Risk style armies, you know, out on a real simple battlefield. And so some people have decided that they wanted to, you know, adjust the frontage. So they were cutting in half, right, and putting their troops down in 2, you know, 2 echelons of 5 figures each. But I like the look of this. It's kind of a cool, you know, style to it. So I got all the French built. I got to build my British, and then we'll have some battles. I'll take on my sons and a couple friends, I'll say. The Pike and Shotte stuff, though, here I have to say, I think this is pretty cool. Very enjoyable. Whoop, this cannon is a little loose too. All right, so looks like just a few items here and there are sensitive to how you're holding them and moving them around. And you can see some of these. They stack together. There's like a little hole on one side and a pin on the other. So you can kind of hook them together, and so that they're easy to adjust their position for you. And pretty cool. Love the plastic. I'll probably experiment. Maybe I'll paint these, but I'm just not a good painter, right? And but if anyone out there tries it out and does, you know, like a simple job, I have a good friend. What he'll do is he'll prime, and then he'll just do like the dipping method, or just, you know, put down a nice wash, and yeah, so he'll get like a little contrast, but he won't worry about, you know, troop colors and so on. Which, I mean, that might be, of course, heresy in some circles, but I don't find it to be all that of a big deal. It's just fun to have the soldiers down on the table. I'll put this up here. Painting guide, Pike and Shotte battles. Now, if anything's been adjusted for the epic scale, one would probably see a quick note about that here. Although, let me grab my Pike and Shotte book. You know, Warlords got a 2nd edition for Black Powder. I have the 2nd edition Hail Caesar now. I haven't heard about 2nd edition Pike and Shotte, but I'll bet you that's coming, right? So, just taking a look at this in terms of, you know, what did they do, to make adjustments for the epic battle. So, well, first of all, of course, just this nice little book, right? So what I'm wondering about is, let's see, right? So they, of course, have switched to all the, smaller scale to the epic scale soldier for their pictures. Right, so everything is laid out in nice tiny soldier fashion, right? And right away just have like the formation data, right? And then some rules about changing them and what the battalions look like, and then we got game rules, right? So right there's page 22, right? And what you got in the big hardback is a little bit of history of the era. What's it like fighting there? What did an army look like in terms of how it was formed, right? And then you have, of course, pictures of the large scale troops. You have some army organization data. They're getting into the game rules here. So I think it's probably a pretty significant revision in terms of maybe the sort of outline of how they've gone through everything. What's cool is, I'm not like an expert, right? I just like to play with the soldiers. So Warlord does a great job just getting you kind of, a kind of not too deep and detailed overview of the armies, but enough to go on and enough to have fun with. And of course all the great eye candy for those of us who are humbled continuously by how we cannot paint just fine. And this one has a little more detail on the methodologies that are part of the formation, frontages and adjustments and so on. And yeah, so what I detect so far is pretty dramatic differences from the 28 millimeter scale text, which I probably mainly do it in the let's say the 18 millimeter from WoFun. So there's Pike and Shotte, and nice that I got a signed copy. Really looks like it's going to be wonderful to try out. So I'll put this guy up, and we'll see you soon with another unboxing. Peace and good, everyone.